Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everybody. Child, let me tell you. It has been a bit of a stressful weekend, and I wanted to go into details, and then I thought about it, so maybe I'd better not. But thank you to the family and friends that I've spoken to, that have reached out, that have checked on me, that have prayed for me. I appreciate you guys. It is a bit of a stressful situation. However, my sister tells me it is a distraction for the BS that's going on. So I guess it's what they call a psyop. But we're not here to talk about that. I am preparing. I am preparing an appetizer because I am getting ready to go have some lunch. And I figured I'd chit chat with y'all while I do so. So I have been watching this content creator, streamer, podcaster guy that has a channel and a platform, and it's called Toxic Confessions. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen and heard some of the stuff that people get on online and say. Now, his platform, his program, or whatever, it has rules, and the rules are you have to show your face to reveal your toxic confession. And it can be anything. There's no holds barred on what you can reveal. If you're not willing to show your face and you want to release the toxic confessions anonymously, then he asks you to tell him in one sentence why they should listen to you. Hmm. Baby, some of the stuff that people have been sharing is absolutely amazing. Let me tell you something. One thing about it is definitely some information, and it is definitely entertaining. And yes, I have subscribed because I can listen to those confessions, and I can be working, and half the time I miss a lot of what I'm listening to because I'm working and I'm being interrupted and et cetera, et cetera. But I can either rewind or keep listening and pick up on it a few minutes later on down the line, right? So this morning, well, yesterday, I was at a friend's house, and she put the Toxic Confessions up on the 80 inch on the big screen. So we was sitting there chillaxing, chilling, talking, drinking, just hanging out, and we was looking, watching, and listening to the Toxic Confessions being revealed. And we listened to this one guy, and it turned up that we were actually able to have a good conversation about it. And then her neighbor, who was there without his wife, gave us a toxic confession, admission, and reveal that tore the party up. Now let's get into the toxic confession that we was listening to online. Online, the man came in to say that he met this chick. She was she was mad cool, and said that he fell for her real quickly. Like after they first two sessions, he started to have feelings for her. Again, keep in mind, these are confessions. His full face is shown. He don't give a damn. Anyway, after they first two sessions, he started to fall for her. And he said the reason he fell for her was because, again, she was mad cool, and basically she turned him out. The way he reported it was that she showed him some things and taught him some things that he had never done before. See, that was a red flag for me, but I'm listening. Because, mind you, the channel is non judgmental, and I'm not being judgmental here, but I do want to speak on, I want to have my reaction to something that he said towards the end, but we're getting there. So, he said she showed him some things, taught him some things he hadn't experienced before. When he said that, I knew what he was talking about. He was talking about he got cracked, right? So the people in the chat was saying, was it a trans or a girl? He said she was full woman. And then old boy asked him to elaborate on what he meant when he said she showed him something, taught him something he hadn't done for. So he went on and admitted that she had pegged him. She had got him. You know what I'm saying? She performed on him. Not only I done lost something. Hang on. Okay, I found it. Not only had she ate him out, but she had been back there playing, right? So he said, I guess once his feelings started to come out, maybe he even shared them with her, um, that she decided she didn't really want to, you know, she didn't really want to mess with him like that no more. Okay, cool. So he now is interested. He wants to learn more. He's got questions. He wants to try more. So he said he started by watching gay porn. Then he said he decided that he wanted the action live and hot. So he went out and got him a transgender. And at that point, it's funny, I got to jump around, but I don't want to. So listen. So at this point, he's intrigued. He really likes it. He wants more of it, but he doesn't want to be construed as gay because let him tell it, he ain't gay. He like cootie cat and he gets plenty of it. So now as he's talking, old boy is asking him questions. And he was saying about, how a lot of the women or girls or whomever that he was messing with, um, they want to get freaky, they want to try things, but yet they don't want to do it with their man. They don't want to admit to their man this is something that they like, something that they try, something that they want to do. He's giving us all of this good talk. But then he turns around and he starts saying how he don't give a damn what nobody say, what they call him, whoop, 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 whoop. And he's talking about men and women not being able to live in their truth and all of the things. So at this point, I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, how can you say that somebody else doesn't want to live in their truth when you're not entirely living in yours? And I say that because he was doing all of this big talking, and then he said something along the lines to where he's always had female friends, and he said he don't fool with dudes. So I'm listening, and I'm listening, I'm looking at the flags. They popping. As they said, the singes, the things is firing. The synapses is firing, and I'm listening to him. And he started saying, yeah, I got a lot of girlfriends. Woo, woo. He said, so, now most of my friends are not only female, but they're transgender. Bam! There it is. There it is. You want to talk about nobody else can't live in their truth when the reality of it is he couldn't live in his own truth. He said he didn't care what nobody called him. He didn't care about being called gay and all of the things, and he don't fool with dudes. But the reality of it is, you was liking getting your back cracked. You like the face of a feminine woman. You like the body of a feminine woman. You like a feminine person, whether they're transgender, gay, lesbian, bi, whatever the case is. You want to see lipstick, eyelashes, titties, and things like that. But at the end of the day, you want to toot your thing up, right, and get hit from the back. Now he said he ain't living the truth. He don't fool with dudes. So why you ain't had this discussion with your homeboys? Why you didn't see if one of your homeboys was interested in cracking your back for you? Why? Because you, my friend, couldn't live in your truth, and you went to the females because that's where you felt comfortable sharing your secret. That's where you felt comfortable having those conversations, and that's where you could find some dang-a-lang with titties and lipstick and wigs. That was the reality of it. Now, again, I'm not judging them, but nigga, don't front. You know what I'm saying? Because you on here, on camera, face showing, everything. You know what I'm saying, nigga? You out here. So don't pretend like, you bigger and you're better than other men, who might only interact with women. There's nothing wrong with it. If you like women, men, trans, dogs, goats, bears, or chickadees, we don't give a damn. That's you. But don't act like you're better than everybody else. Don't act like everybody else is weak because they can't speak about it or don't want to. Society is cruel. The public is very judgmental and they can be very mean. They're like kids in kindergarten. They can be very mean. They can say some nasty things. They can be very hostile. So people who don't want to deal with that, who don't want to interact with that, that they have a right to not want to interact with that. You know what I'm saying? They don't, you know what I'm. People don't want to deal with that kind of shit. They just want to live life and be happy in whatever it is that they do, whatever it is that they like, whatever it is they choose to do. But the fact that he kept sitting up here talking about what other niggas can't do, what they will do, what they won't do, whoop de whoop de whoop. But we listening to you, and basically you're telling us that you can't have those discussions and hang out with and talk about it with your friends because they gonna be on your ass, and in the same sentence you turn around and say you don't give a damn what they say about you, but you didn't go sit up and tell them that you like getting your back cracked. So anywho's, that was an interesting conversation. So now let's move on to the next one. So the next girl says her baby daddy cheated on her. She said she knew he was cheating with this one girl, and she talked about it with her friends, I guess, and her sister, and they were basically saying, you know what, babe, if you love him, it is what it is. Because no matter who he get with, at the end of the day, sooner or later, he's going to cheat on them. So, you know what I'm saying? Is it really worth you having a headache about it, or you tripping about it, or being mad about it? So she was kind of like, okay, well, you know what? I do love him. You know what I'm saying? He takes care of me. He pays the bills, this, that, and the third. I don't want for nothing. Cool. I can rock with that. But grandparents was in that situation. My granddad was dirty dog, baby. He had all the hoes at the church and everywhere else. So, that's cool. And like she said, he taking care of her doing what he doing. So she was okay with him messing with the girl. But now things done changed and he's messing with a guy. She heard it was a new girl in town, not knowing. But curiosity got the best of her, and she wanted to know, who is she? What does she look like? Where does she live? Where does she work? How does she carry herself? She wanted to know more about the competition. So her girls sprung into action and started researching who the mystery woman was and found out it was a mystery nigga. Now her feelings have been absolutely hurt. Hang on, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. So now, her feelings are hurt. She say that's a deal breaker, which they never had an arrangement. She just had decided amongst her friends and family that, she was just gonna let him cheat and not hound him, not, what I'm saying, not say nothing, not harass him, not scratch his face up. She just was like, you know what, I'm gonna be okay with it as long as he continue to do what, he doing for me, it'll be okay. And I guess, you know, ultimately she was saying, as long as he paying my bills and taking care of me, he can't pay her bills and take care of her. He can't take care of both of us like that. So I'll stay, I'll stay here and be the queen. So so now that she know he messing with a dude, her peoples jump into action so that they can find out the who, when, what, where, identify this dude, see what he look like, see what he working with, see what he got, all of the above. Girl, let me tell you, when she saw who he was messing with, it was funny because, and she showed, she showed his face. She showed a picture, and the picture he had a masculine look, right, with the goatee, the nice haircut. I don't know if he just had good skin or if that was makeup, not sure. But ultimately, he had on lip gloss. So the lip gloss was the dead giveaway that, you know what I'm saying, he was strapping both ways. But then she ended up saying that she didn't want to catch nothing. Whoop, whoop, whoop. She went, got tested, did all of the things. But then, lo and behold, she did catch something. And that hurt even more because she couldn't determine if he got it from a girl or if he got it from a guy. So she got mad, took his test results, took photos. When I tell you, she stalked that man, followed that man, put trackers on him, watched him, taking video and pictures. She done sent it to his family. Then she done sent the test results and stuff to the job. Say he has refused treatment and all of the things, baby. When I tell you she went to work on him, I said, you know what? That sounds like some shit I would have did back in the day. And you know what, you guys? You have to be, listen, in this day and age, with everything that's going on, you have to be more aware of what you do, how you feel, what goes on in your head, because you could have some type of mental problem and don't know it because you've not sat down and really thought about or talked about what happened, why you felt that way, why you thought that, why you acted that way. And You know, sometimes when I get down in my spirit, the first place I run to is to the Bible, and I talk to God, and I ask Him to show me, give me understanding, have mercy on me, help me, all of the things. And baby, when He turned that spirit loose on you, all you can say is, wow, I didn't even know. It never occurred to me that way. You don't always have to go see a therapist or a psychiatrist or whatever the case may be. Not always. But if you're not paying attention, it'll scoot right past you. Now, baby, when I tell you she put that shit out there, then she ended up, once the family came and told him, once the job fired him, now she wants to break up with him and do all of the things. She was even more hurt and devastated. And let me ask, can you imagine what happened next? I'm sure you can't. Let me help you out. Homeboy shows up, tries to talk. She's upset, irate, trying to put hands on him, walking away. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. Homeboy said, "Well, that's okay. Let me get a truck. Let me call some of my homies, and we'll pack my shit up, and I can go ahead on and get out your way." Well, one of the homies that showed up was the dude that he had been messing with. That messed the whole thing up. Then she was saying she didn't want the dude in her house. Woo, 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 woo. So old boy sat outside as they put stuff outside. He was helping to load the truck. He was doing his fair share. And he said, "Well, baby, I love you, and I probably always will love you. I'm going to miss you. You know, take care." And he said, "But you know what? I'm going to bounce back." He said, "I'm going to bounce back. Don't even trip." And then she said, "I'm sure you will, 'cause now that you homeless." He said, "Oh, homeless is not what I am." He said, "I got somewhere to go. My homeboy gonna let me crash with him." The dude he was sleeping with. Shut your mouth. Baby. She was hurt. And then she wanted to fight, stab, cut, and do all of the things. Be careful what you will accept, because while she was patient and okay with him cheating, he infinitely brought something back to her. She don't know where he got it from. He never consented or admitted or divulged that he had it or that he knew he had it, and she shook the trees before she could even find out if he was even being tested or going through treatment. And that's bad. So now you done did all of these things, got him fired from work, you done took this shit to the church, took this shit to his family, put him out your house, only to find up the same nigga he was messing with done scooped him up and gonna let him move in over there and will probably take care of him until he do get a job. But now you're still at the house. Now you have to pay all your own bills, and you have to have treatment. And quiet as it's kept, it's illegal for you not to divulge that you got that shit when you sleep with somebody else. But hey, who am I? Don't listen to me. That's what they do out here these days. I have seen people on the Toxic Confessions talk about how they put stuff into people's food, in their drink, in their medicines. Forget that, and for payback. And the reality of it is when they do that, that's equivalent to somebody raging out, crashing out, as the kids call it, and yelling and screaming and busting out windows and dropping sugars in tanks and doing all of the things. It's the same thing. You're just doing it on a darker scale. See, a crash out is expected when things like this happen, because they hurt. They haven't had a chance to sit down and think about it, to marinate on it, to figure out how they're going to resolve it, get past it. And it's the same way when you don't crash out. Like all of the videos where the girls is talking about they caught their men on a Tinder. You know, we thought that maybe they was getting caught for real, only to find out later on that none of that shit is true. Those are all skits. And the people that are pushing Tinder put the skits out to draw more people to their platform. That's just business, honey. Don't pay no attention to it. But if you haven't listened to Toxic Confessions, he puts snippets and cuts and paste pieces together to advertise on X because X don't have no boundaries, so to speak. But he does it all on Patreon. And a lot of times he goes live so you could be in the chat asking questions and having a whole conversation. But at the end of the day, if you want to come up and confess and talk, you're going to have to show your face or tell them why. And this one girl, she came up and he was like, we can't see you. All I see is the ceiling. And then she was like, no, I don't really, I didn't really want to come on. He said, the rules are if you're going to come up here to confess, you got to show your face. So he said, go ahead and tell us in one sentence why we should listen to you. And homegirl say because my homegirl slept with my baby daddy, and then my baby daddy slept with his sister, and then we ended up doing a threesome, and all of them caught herpes. And he said, well, damn, Queen, go ahead on and spill your tea then. Because he said, now that's how you reveal what you want to confess if you don't want to show your face. He said, that's how you do it. You hit us with all you got. He said, okay, now back up, rewind a little bit, Queen. And she proceeded to tell her story. While she's telling her story, she said, fuck it, and put the camera on her face. My nigga, when I tell you it was on and popping, baby, I ain't been so tickled in such a long time. It's a good show. Um, you get the live and uncut version on Patreon. And baby, when I tell you some of the shit the people be telling, be some real shit. I heard one girl talk about how she hacked the boyfriend's email and sent shit to his job, put his naked pictures because somebody sent her a video of her boyfriend sleep with somebody else. She put it on the internet, sent it to his job, sent it to his mama and his brothers, and it was another dude. And all of the things, how she hacked the email, she sent a fictitious form like she was from the county health department to his job saying that he needs to be tested and they couldn't get in touch with him. Woo woo, like one girl got on there and she was telling how she got somebody kicked out because he had a roommate. He used to have a roommate who was on the lease. They fell out and he moved somebody else in, not telling the property management that it wasn't the person that had signed the lease agreement in the beginning with him. So it didn't look odd, it didn't look conspicuous, it didn't look weird that somebody else was coming in and out of the house because, he had somebody else on the lease. It was supposed to have been somebody else coming in and out of the house. They just didn't know it was a different person. So, yeah, she was spilling the tea on how she was able to get the key and the information from the property manager so that she could slide into his house and set him up, and then turned around and called the police and told him that he was doing this. Like, these girls be crashing out big time. Do you hear me? And so the shit be funny when we be listening to it. It's like, damn, she was mad for real. She was big mad. And you can only think, well, how is it that she let this go for so long? How was she able to accept this, deal with this, handle this, not knowing? And see, that's one of the first things that you should think about when you make a mental decision that you're going to accept any infidelity, any cheating. The first thing you need to be thinking about is, what if I catch something? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna be able to identify where he got it from? Do you think he gonna be open enough to tell me to get checked out, tell me to get treated? Do you think he gonna tell me anything? Those are the type of questions you have to ask yourself. Because let me tell you something. These people is out here licking booties and doing all of the things. Shit is already going around, the Ebola, the monkeypox, and all these other different things. You really have to be careful. You really have to be careful, um, because you don't know what may be passed to you. You don't know what you may catch. You don't know what you may get that you can't get rid of, and then you don't know whether or not you're gonna need treatment. And then I'm headed out to the car, so I may have some interruption on my phone, but we'll see. Um, you also don't know. Um, you have to know these things when you with somebody that's not 100% in the game with you, because most people, as soon as they find out they pregnant, they excited and itching to have a baby by the no by a nothing ass nigga that's done gave you some shit, and you ain't even got sense enough to know or either get checked out to see if you got something. So now these girls out here carrying around some type of infection of some sort, pregnant, carrying a child, making that child susceptible to whatever infection they got, and now you bringing a special needs child into the world. It's not fair to the baby. At the end of the day, that's just the bottom line. It's not fair to the baby. I'm outside in the driveway now, so the signal might start acting up, but give me a minute. So people have to really, they have to be careful, because everything ain't peaches and cream like you would want. And you have to be aware. I think that's the biggest thing, is to be aware of what's going on, who you dealing with, what type of relationship y'all really have. If you're not gonna make him put a rubber on, then I would hope y'all a girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, or something like that, and not just sleeping together whenever the box get hot. So be careful, pay attention, stay getting checked out, especially if you have multiple partners. That's some shit you gonna have to. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to deal with that. You're gonna have to take care of that. You're gonna have to service that cootie cat like you service your car. So, toxic confessions. That was that was major. I don't know who came up with the idea, where he got the idea from. It was an absolutely. Is this a lighter? It is a lighter. How did you get down there? It is. It was a great idea. The concept was great. The way he does it is great. And I tell you something else. And I believe this. I don't know this to be true, but I believe this with the shit that they be revealing. It's too bad that he don't have a team that follows up with some of these people to see how things are going. Because I would imagine them boys is probably subscribed, plugged in, listening and watching, and they're following up, because it's people that get on there that talk about how they have harmed somebody. And while it might be entertaining, if you cause harm to somebody, that's not something you should be getting online. Taking somebody out cause them to go to glory, that's not something you should be talking about, laughing about, bragging about, revealing, or anything else online, because that's a crime. But baby, when I tell you the shit they be sharing is absolutely hilarious, you gotta tune in. This is some good shit. hmm So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and share that little bit with y'all. Um, Give y'all some summertime, somewhere to hang out for the summer. Get some good tea, good feedback, good info. Because some of the stuff that is revealed is good for survival. There are some survival tactics that have been shared. When people are in a position where they can't, damn, I need a napkin. Where they need emergency help, they've given some tips and tricks on what they did to get the help that could be beneficial to somebody, right? Um, what is this on my glasses? Um, oh, okay, got it. Just there's a number of things that be on there that I think could be helpful in somebody's life in some form or fashion. So, anywho's, Toxic Confessions. Go to Patreon, join in, and have a key. I'm out, y'all. I'm going to feed my face and have a drink. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Y'all be safe, be blessed, and holla.